Bit of bolt action in the afternoon. Here we are at my friend's house, and there you can just see, before I go into the army list, he has a little collection of helmets, as you do. So some nice selection there of different eras. And here's my list that I'm taking for today's game. And this is the Bastards of Bataan. I've got two Stuart A3s. One I'm proxying with an A3 top turret off of the old LVT, but it's going to proxy in for a tank here. So I've got two of those light anti-tank gun veterans, truck with a medium machine gun on it. I've got four inexperienced infantry sections of 6 rifles, the NCO and 5 men, because I've got 2 rifle platoons here. I've then got a medium mortar and 3 marine regular early wars, 8 men units, NCO, 7 rifles, 1 bar, so 8 men. NCO's got a rifle, and then I've got a second lieutenant and his mate, and a second lieutenant on his own. The two of them are veteran, and the one on his own is regular. And that's it, just under 1,000 points. Here's my opponent tonight, which is the Kwangtung army, and what we've got is we've got a tank with a light howitzer. We've got 2 normal infantry sections of Japanese. One's a 12, I think, and one's a 13. And then we've got a unit of grenadiers with 2 light mortars. We've got 2 37mm anti-tank guns. We've got a medium mortar, anti-tank rifle, 2 snipers, 2 suicide tank guys, and a flamethrower, and 2 officers. So again, 2 rifle platoons for tonight's, well, for this afternoon's game in fact. So these are the lists, are 1,000 points, and they fit the phony war criteria, which is up to December 1941. So we shall see how these adversaries go. Here's the table for today. We've got some woods, some scrub, we've got ruins, there's a road running through the middle, but we've got a blockade slightly in, so some more ruins, a bit more of the foliage, a bit more ruins and some trees. And as we run round to the other end, got a small pillbox facing away from down their road, protecting the ruined town. And we come up to over this side, and trying to get the full table, and everything really works very well on an iPad, but it gives you some idea. Road down the middle, ruined buildings on either side, and a bit of foliage between them. Version 2, the ruins are counted as dense terrain, so you can't see through them, and you get the 2+ cover. The woods, again, dense terrain, can't see through them. The bushes, I think, probably in this one, soft cover, able to see through. Barricades in the middle, hard cover. The pillboxes, as they are, pillboxes, but not facing in a very good direction. But that's it, set up.
Set it up then and just let it run.
Yeah, playing sectors, and which means you have opposite deployment quarters. The Americans, bastards over here, they are the Bastards of Bataan, but I'll call them the Bastards. They are in this corner, and in the opposite quarter we've got the Japanese set up. You can see there's a little anti-tank gun team down there. There's a tank suicide guy hidden behind that tree to the left. We've got a medium, got a little 37mm anti-tank gun, medium mortar, grenadiers with 2 light mortars in that bit of shrub. There's another sniper hiding somewhere. Oh, he's over there, with another suicide guy. Over here, the Marines and the Filipino infantry. setting out on this right hand side. We've got the mortar spotter, and then the mortar tucked away in the corner here. We've got the guys lining up to do a run across to try and get into a better position. So scoring for this is you get 3 points for each unit into your opponent's starting quarter, 2 points I think for the neutral quarters, and you get 1 point for each unit destroyed. But before everything starts in earnest, we have to go through preliminary. I can't even say it. Preliminary. You know what it is.
First bombardment.
First bombardment. I wish I could say it. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll do a shot of what's happened after. So after the preliminary bombardment, there was 1 pin on the suicide man. The anti-tank rifle took a direct hit, lost 1 man, failed leadership test, so eliminated. 2 pins on the small anti-tank gun, 2 pins on the mortar,
2 on the sniper.
2 on the sniper,
2 on the grenadiers.
2 on the grenadiers,
2 on the sniper.
2 on the sniper,
And 1 on the
one
lunatic.
on the lunatic. So over on the American side, we took 2 pins to the inexperienced unit here, but it was also exceptional damage, and that took out the NCO. So they're on a additional -1 leadership test. Mortar took 2 pins. The American Marines took 2 pins. The inexperienced squad in the ruins took 2 pins. Not some good one roll in by my opponent Colin. Nothing on the Marine unit. Nothing on the other inexperienced unit in the middle. Nothing on the second lieutenant, and then 2 pins on the final inexperienced unit. So that was the end of the preliminary bombardment. So first blood to the Americans, even dice now, 13 apiece, and everything's in the box, in the bag, and we're going to head off into turn 1. So end of turn 1, not a very exciting turn really, because of the preparatory bombardment. Really, turn 1 is just getting the units rallied, and that's what we tended to do in this one. All the units have more or less rallied, passed the rally test, so we're all ready to go on there, apart from 1 suicide man, that Japanese suicide man who was a bit dazed on this one around. I was able to manage to do a snap 2, and I got 1 unit rallied, and snapped to my officer and moved him over. He was able to get in range to rally the other ones, and he was needed on that one. His +1 helped. So we got the Marines heading over to the left, and the Filipino infantry in the centre. So moving into turn 2. End of turn 2. A little bit of action on this one now. The IGO came on and dropped an artillery shell onto the troops here. Tried to do that, but it missed, and then machine gunned them to put 1 pin on them. I then brought on one of the Stuarts and took a shot and destroyed it. The Stuarts are veterans, so don't count as moving when they shoot, so it was quite a good little shot. Needing 4s, then needing 5s, and then I rolled a 5 to get the tank destroyed. Japanese have started to bring some more troops on. They failed bringing on 1 of their infantry units, so we've got 2 small anti-tank guns. The anti-tank gun moved away from the fence and then went round the side to deploy on the flank. The other little anti-tank gun came on. The unit which is hiding behind the trees there plonked their light mortar into the unit in the house here. So you can see from, this is probably better, running it from that bit of scrub into the house there, causing 3 casualties and 2 pins. Oh no, 2 casualties and a pin. The sniper that was up in the building took out the NCO. Over on this side, everything sort of rallied up here, no casualties. Advanced the Philippine infantry out of the woods towards the ruin and the neutral sector. We've got the 2 units behind the wall here, just gives them additional protection. What I'm hoping to do is to run them across to get them onto the neutral sector, so they will score 1 point each for everything in the neutral sector. One's in the centre. I'm hoping that they might survive and they can run out into there. Tanks on this side, be keeping them a bit safe and see what we can run from there. Infantry officer is in the truck, and that's end of turn 2. Here's a little close-up of the IGO after being hit by the Stuart, after the Stuart had come on, and a bit of retribution for the IGO, which hit the infantry squad and gave them a little bit of a damage. End of turn 3, and the Japanese have come off onto the right, the Americans' right flank, a large squad. The unit that was ambushing the walls there took a shot and put 1 pin on them. Not that it's going to make any difference with the Banzai charge. I could lose that little unit of inexperienced men in turn 4. Centre, they were on ambush. Oh, sorry, moving that around. Centre units were on ambush. They're now free to go, whatever they want to do. In the centre, another unit, they were just on ambush, trying to cover across. Unit of the house went down as a response to the shooting and the mortar from the Japanese on that side. They require a 4 to hit the people in the building now. The little mortar teams there are on 2s to hit this squad in the building, in the ruins, so that's not going to be too good for them. Over on this side, my mortar took a plonk at the mortar team over there, requiring 4s. However, they're not going to have much hope now because the sniper took out my observer, and they're going to have to move to get a better shot somewhere. On the right flank, it's been much better. The officer debussed from the truck. Truck was on ambush. Advanced up both of the Stuarts. The Stuart on the far left took a shot and took out the anti-tank gun on the furthest of that table edge. The little anti-tank suicide guy ran out from behind the pillbox to attack the Stuart, and the truck with the medium machine gun that was on ambush was able to put 1 wound onto him and took him out. So that was quite useful. Going very well on the left-hand flank. The right-hand side, a little more troublesome. A lot of infantry, big infantry unit there, and in the centre, which is going to cause me some trouble. So moving into turn 4. End of turn 4, and the Japanese have made a dash. The Japanese section on the right have advanced up here because I moved the unit that was in the ruins away. I didn't want them to get killed, so they've run away, and the Japanese have followed them away. In the centre, the 2 Japanese units have come out to assault the Filipinos, which are here in the US Marines. Managed to get 4 pins on the unit in the centre and take off a few of them, but they are going to just Banzai charge, I would hazard a guess, and ignore all the pins. The centre squad there came out, but I did get a mortar shot with a 6 from the mortar team, which was over here, a lucky 6, and was able to take 3 of them off. The units that were in the centre, they did a couple of shots on the Japanese that came out, and that was a few pins. The tank, the medium machine gun also put a few shots on the unit there, and the 3 came out and put some shots onto the unit behind the wall as well. The other 3 advanced out, and the lieutenant has moved out. On the Japanese side, the flamethrower team has gone on to ambush. A little anti-tank is still behind the wall. The mortar needs a 3 to hit the unit in the building there, who are down and lost their pins. Again with the other unit that stayed down for the turn and lost their pins. And we're moving into turn 5. End of turn 5. Didn't go so well for the Japanese assault in the centre. The Grenadier unit charged the unit of inexperienced that were in the ruin, and the inexperienced were able to shoot a few as they came in because they were on ambush. The mortar from this side had put a couple of more casualties on them, but in hand to hand, as it was simultaneous, 6 inexperienced actually hit with 6 dice, which was really harsh, and took out the whole Japanese Grenadiers. The other Japanese unit here assaulted them then, and was able to carry the ruins, but did lose a couple of guys to the Filipino infantry. Over in the centre, over on the left flank, the Americans have advanced forwards. To match that, the flamethrower team have come out from behind the blown up Igo. The Stuart that was on ambush tried to shoot them, put a pin on them but couldn't kill anyone. The truckers moved up. The infantry from the shrub have moved up behind the wall. The officer here has run out away. Probably get an attack from the Japanese on the inexperienced infantry in the ruins this turn coming up. On the far side, the mortar's still there, needs a RIG-2 to hit, but unfortunately no, it needed a 3 last turn and didn't get it for shooting at the Marine squad in the ruins. The light artillery is still on ambush, the officer is there, and the little guy, suicide man, has moved, let's see if we can find him, into the to the edge of the woods, threatening the armour. So end of turn 5, moving into turn 6, and we'll see how we go with the units there. Just a close-up of the inexperienced infantry taking the banzai charge from the Japanese. They're able to take 1 or 2 people off with their ambush shooting, the stand and shoot, so they did that. But the key thing was the simultaneous dice throw, and my opponent was aghast after we threw the dice and it came up with what we have in the shot here. Decimated the Japanese. So turn 6, and the Americans have pushed up. The Americans' dice came out of the bag pretty quick, so we pushed up on the left flank to get over halfway into the Japanese starting quarter. The Stuarts advanced forward, machine gunned the flamethrower team off, and the centre Marine unit advanced and took out the anti-tank suicide guy. Into the centre, the Japanese infantry got into the American starting quarter, and over on the far side the Japanese ran round the back of the pillbox into the starting quarter for the Americans and scored points there. However, when you totalled it up, it was somewhere in the region of 19 points to 7, so quite a big win for the bastards of Bataan within this game. Well, I was very surprised at the way the battling bastards of Bataan worked. It was just an army, something different to take to my friends, and put it together fairly quickly. And turned out for sectors it worked really well. Key thing to this is trying to remember to get as many of your troops into the opposing players' starting quarter as possible. You've got to try and defend your own a little bit, and that's why I put a number of squads on that right hand side for my initial starting quarter, but I tried to advance across as many as I could from the initial deployment, and then my reserves coming on that left hand side to try and punch a hole, which more or less the two Stuart 3s and the truck did. The infantry took a bit of a battering. A lot of it was focused onto the Marines by my opponent, and I did have a great deal of luck with the inexperienced infantry taking out the banzai charge. I just had, I think, too many units which was as a result of the army list. Really, you've got to take 4 inexperienced squads for the 2 rifle platoons, and then I bulked that up with the 3 infantry marine platoons, and the 2 tanks and a truck, and the 1 mortar, and that seemed to be a pretty good mix for this little army. The going down now really helps with the -2 to hit, and halving of HE shots. But good game, good result. Not so good for the Japanese this time around, but thanks very much for watching, and if you want to like it, please do, and subscribe if you will. Thanks very much.